Welcome everyone to another edition of Business Success Secrets Masterclass. And Masterclass is a word which is bandied about quite a lot these days, but I can assure you we're in esteemed company. We've got the right person for the right occasion, I think. It's a great blessing to have Dr. Elena join us again, her second time that she's joined us here on the guidance coaching platform. I'm your host, Shez Hanif. I'm the founder and lead coach at Guidance Coaching, and we specialize in helping budding entrepreneurs and professionals discover their dream career so that we can help you turn your passion into a profit. So with that in mind, I think that we've got the ideal candidate today to talk about this topic, about what is the process to discover your dream career. This is something which I was stuck with for so many years of my life. And I've got my own kind of perspective on it, but I think it's always nice to hear the experts and hear their viewpoints. So Dr. Elena, welcome. How are you today?
Fantastic. And thank you for having me, Shez, having me again. This is so much fun. My pleasure.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for coming again. And I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to invite you because I know, how busy you are. So I'm really, really grateful for your time. So, if this starts dragging on a bit, just give me a little wink or something and we'll end it there and then.
Thank you.
No
yes,
problem. Thank you so much.
When I do my business group coaching, which you're welcome to come anytime, and definitely first session is free, and you're a special friend. So
thank you.
So yeah, to answer your question, that's a great question. This interview is not rehearsed, so I do it's spontaneous. So I just share my tools, my knowledge, my proven practice. I'm Italian American, so I still have an accent. Okay, it's there. So for discovering your passions, your dream career, which can change in a lifetime, because we keep evolving, right, as people, and so therefore even our passions and what we love changes as we change, as we evolve. And to be honest, what I'm finding during this pandemic is that people who adapt really fast and realize, okay, based on what I know, my experience, my gifts, what I love, how can I help out? How can I bridge the gaps, fill the gaps, and be creative, and obviously reinvent myself, because we've had to reinvent ourselves all throughout the pandemic and still now. So depending on if you are in the restaurant business, then how can you help people making sure they have their meals, even if they cannot come in at full capacity, and so on and so forth. There's many ways. And by the way, we do help entrepreneurs with our mastermind, and that we do once a month. It's free.
That's on a Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes. Wednesdays. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So it's global, so you get to really hear from people around the globe and exchange best practices and ideas. And thank you for signing up, Shez. We're looking forward to having you.
Thank you.
So really, it takes a little bit of introspection and soul searching and digging deep to find where you're at, right? With your passions. Of course, if you have a coach like myself, my team, Shez and his team, we're all qualified to help you. As far as so journaling is a great tool. Literally journal, quiet down, and tune off all the notification, turn them off. Okay, right now I turned off everything. I'm completely 100% focused here. There's only like a little pop-up that keeps saying a software update is required, but I'll disregard. And so journaling is great, and maybe unplugging and going to a place that inspires you, like a body of water, views for me. And you can do a fun virtual background nowadays. So then this other tool, I'm not endorsing it, but it's people I've worked with and tools I've used myself. So, and with my clients, so that they've helped. One is called thepassiontest.com. If you want to type it later, thepassiontest.com. And it's a bestseller book, the Passion Test. I believe it's translated in every language. You can find a free copy at your library. And if you check their website, your local library, and if you check their website, there's probably a free version of it where you can just take the test, unless you want to read the entire book and do the full test. Okay, that's a great tool.
Yeah, I believe they have an online test as well, don't they? I took that recently, actually.
Yeah, good. Yes, and good point, Shez. I recommend you retake the test every 6 months or a year, because you change a lot within 6 months and a year. And so your aspirations, your dreams, your ideas do change with that. So you're always on path with what you love and with your heart synchronized. Another great tool is, as you probably know, Shez, that's how we met, is through our common mentor, Harv Eker, and his team, and his son now as well, Jesse. And it's called Grow Rich Doing What You Love. Grow Rich Doing What You Love. I don't make any money from telling you, although I am an affiliate. Obviously, I do work with Harv. I'm affiliated with him and his company. I've worked with him for the past 20 years, a lot pro bono. So that's a great tool, and it's actually very inexpensive. And I think a lot of the intro templates and videos are even free. So, and I can send you the link later, just in case I don't have it handy. And so it used to be done, this course used to be done in person. It was called Life Directions, Mission to Millions. And I've done it like a dozen times. I've coached, or even more, all over the world, literally. And I would coach the event. It was 3 solid days, sometimes no sleep, where you really dig deep. You go back with through your entire life, and without giving it away, because I'm not supposed to. So you do a lot of exercises to see, okay, if you passed away accidentally, would you have any regrets? Would you have done anything differently? Or if you were on the Titanic and you only had 2 lifeboats, who would you save, or who would, and why? And would you save yourself? All these questions to realize, are you on track right now? Are you really living, maximizing your potentials? Are you doing what you love? Okay, they're deep questions that really, they're not easy. You have to tune in, unplug, and going over strengths and weaknesses, and what people say about you, and your role models. Why do you admire them? There are some other exercises about what are your core values. Are you following those? What inspires you? What empowers you? Is anything upsetting you, pissing you off? Okay, so that usually, it's an indicator that you're either on the right path or not. Is anything violating your what's important to you? Exercises like that, and then in the end, there is a little formula to come up with your mission statement and your vision, which the vision should be really just like in business and in your personal life. Should not just be like the next 3 months. It should be an exit plan till the end of your life, the best you can. But if you cannot go there right away, then start with 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and then build from there. Or the opposite, just think of, what you want to do with your life. Maybe think of a legacy you want to leave behind, or with your business, would you want to sell it or pass it forward, and make sure it's succession, right? Inherited. And then from there, pedal back. What would you do then in 10 years, 5 years, 1 year from now, 6 months from now, next quarter, and so on. So, does that answer your question a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. I mean, that's a great program. That is actually a great program. I did actually subscribe to that program, and it was actually really nice just listening to you, because I kind of went on a personal journey there, just going through some of the questions that came up. And I loved the bit about the, so there is, like you said, without giving too much away, it's like, you're actually, there is, one exercise where you're talking about your legacy as if you've left the world, and what kind of, how do you want to be remembered? And it's, and then you kind of, like you said, go back in time, step by step, and, and build a vision for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And it's, it is an excellent program. And that was the first program of its kind that I ever came across, which forced me to really start thinking deep about, like, what is my purpose here from a career, business perspective, from, in terms of all the core areas of my life, like what kind of legacy do I want to leave? And yeah, I would definitely endorse that program of Halves. And I'm glad you mentioned it. Actually, it brought back some nice memories, and you've actually given me the inclination to want to maybe revisit it again, and just go through it again. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I think it's important.
And then let me do a little shameless promotion, but it's actually to help you and your audience as well. Since it's Cyber Monday, and I know now it's a global phenomenon.
Yes.
We also gave away a lot for free or super discounted as my company, You Have Got the Power.
Yes.
So, the mastermind, the global mastermind once a month is always free. The group coaching is first session is always free. I do, it's with business focus. I do recommend anybody tries it at least once, experience it. First session again is free. And then we do have what's called Rich Coach University, is a coach certification.
Yeah.
And it's got 28 modules. They're both in Italian and English. They have not only videos, but written templates that you can use with your own clients. So I strongly believe that anybody has coaching abilities inside of us. And maybe for some people it's more like specialty coaching, but whether we realize it or not, we do coach our professional teams, our sports group, if we belong to any, which I encourage you to, and we coach our fans, our anybody we may be mentoring for to help out, or pro bono, or for professionally, or maybe your kids, quote unquote, indirectly, or your loved ones. So yeah, we're basically giving it away at our cost, which is, I have a membership website, and it's got a little IT and client care cost to maintain. So we're giving it away at $197 or euros. And it's basically, it's worth at least 10,000. But we're giving it away at our cost to help out during this COVID, to really help people discover their mission and help out, help the community, their community. And that's another great way that I think with these templates, when you never really learn and master something until you teach it or you convey to others. So in that regard, I am a big proponent in anybody just learning the basics about coaching, and you can just use it in both in your personal and professional life. So richcoachuniversity.com. It's like, for these holidays, we're basically giving it away.
Wow, that is excellent. That is great value. Thank you for sharing that. So just to kind of reiterate there, so you're giving, obviously you have the monthly mastermind, which is free for everyone. Every month, anyone can join.
Yes.
And then you're also offering Rich Coach University, which is a fully bona fide, like a coaching certification program. Is that right?
Correct.
And basically you're kind of hand-holding people there through the coaching journey in terms of getting them qualified as coaches. And also you're then also giving them templates, which I assume is to help them with maybe their marketing copy and posts on social media and things like that.
Yes.
Excellent. That is great stuff. And the tuition is €197, did you say?
Yes. This is a home study course, so you can consume it at your own pace, and you'll have access to it for a lifetime. You'll always have the videos and the written templates. So, because some people learn better by reading, and they have to have the templates. Some people learn better by hearing, some people learn better by watching and viewing. So we know that, and so that's why we offer the same material in all those formats.
Aha, excellent. So you're kind of catering for all audiences, really. So there's no excuse for people not to subscribe.
Your best, yes.
Absolutely. You've just touched upon something very interesting there, Dr. Elena, if I may just kind of backtrack a little bit with you. You mentioned people's kind of learning methods. You know, some people are more visual, some people are more auditory. So I heard a quote which really made me kind of ponder and reflect, and it was something along the lines of, you know, that you don't necessarily need to read books. Better you invest your time in mentors who have read the books, who have achieved what you're aspiring to achieve. Because, you know, there's some people, like you said, there's some people who are maybe not bookworms and, you know, have not really kind of inculcated that habit to read. So what's your perspective on it? Do you think it needs to be a kind of a, you know, a whatever works for you type of approach, or do you think you must read and combine that with, you know, working with mentors and the audio-visual aspect?
So if I understand your question correctly, so people learn differently, and I mean, obviously we all, each and every one of us knows all learning methods, but we have a preference. And so just like some people prefer email, some people prefer a video call or a text or social media or messenger, you know, we all have our preferences. So, you know, and obviously we do know that what works best is experiential, like experiencing something firsthand. That's why in coaching, which is still a relatively new field that there's a lot of confusion about. People always, every day I get that confused with consulting or mentoring, subject matter expert. And yes, maybe somebody can do all of them. I think I can do all of them with my credentials, but in coaching per se, we're not supposed to tell people what to do. We're trained to professionally ask a lot of questions, specific questions. So the person digs, the client, the coachee digs deep, and boom, has the light bulb moment and discovers his or her own truth, which is true for them, which may be different for mine because maybe I have different set of values. But obviously the coach has to be very neutral and empower the dreams of the client, whichever one it is, and may not be mine, but doesn't matter, right? So you know, pre-COVID, there used to be, I've always been virtual. I like that because it gives me freedom to travel and be wherever I want. But a lot of personal and professional development training companies were relying on in-person. In-person, you can do some exercises with props that may be a little challenging to do virtually. But you know, you just need to be creative. We have the creativity, so we have the technology. Like for instance, you know, if I have a client who's struggling to getting started with a new workout, I do it with them on the phone or on video. And I said, okay, jump on that treadmill, run in place as we coach, you know, so start together. Wow. If you're not eating your vegetables or enough, then blend them in a smoothie so you can still sip, or in a soup, walk and talk, or sorry, sip and talk and coach, and I get them to do it. I prepare my own minestrone soup, blend it, and I sip it with them. You know, I do my best to take the first step, do it together, experience it with them. That's how people learn best, you know, by habit and repeating. But obviously, I personally, I like videos. I'm very auditory more than reading, but or reading has to have a lot of images because I'm very I'm a visionary. So that's why I've written 4 books. I put a lot of images, a lot of links. I make it as interactive as possible because that's how I would like to learn. But everybody's different. Somebody just likes plain black ink on white and paper book and being able to highlight, and write on it their own notes. You can do that. It's probably not eco-friendly for the trees, but you can do that on Amazon. You can print out, print on demand, and yeah. But the templates is very important to have, like written templates. And so in other coaching programs that I bought in my process to become a PhD doctor in psychology and then certified coach, they were only providing videos and not written templates that I can actually use with my clients. For me, that's not acceptable. It's important you have both written templates that you can fall back to and videos where you see myself and others. It's 3-dimensional, explain it, and you see our emotions and our mistakes. You see everything.
yeah, absolutely. No, it's fascinating insight there. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. So one thing I guess what I would want to ask you is if we flip the question around and say what are the mistakes that people, or in your experience, what are the mistakes that people tend to make on that journey of trying to discover their passion in life or that dream career or business?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yes. So here are the mistakes that I see. And my hair, when I see it, my hair goes up, literally. So, and I wish I could tell people don't do that. It's a mistake. But again, people have to learn. You cannot tell them what to do. They have to learn for themselves. You can still be there to support them, when they realize, okay, that was the wrong path. So 2 major mistakes I've seen. One is that people, and I've made that mistake myself, and I've learned the hard way. People have the shiny object syndrome and want to do everything at once. And so they become the master of, so they become the jack of all trades, the master of none. So they hear that there is this MLM company that you can make a lot of money, that investment where you can make a lot of money, and this other thing, venture that, whatever. I hear that a lot now. Your own business online, which makes no sense because all businesses should be online, but whatever. Let's say Amazon store. And so they have three things, new things going on at once, and they don't accomplish any because it's like having 3 babies, 3 triplets. Yeah. You're gonna need a babysitter. There's no way you have 3 eyes or 3 brains. And so when you start a new project, focus on that as much as possible and take it to a point where it runs by itself or with little to no supervision, and then start the second venture, but not at the same time, because you're going to have split focus, and it's scientifically proven it's going to take you 10 times and even more as long to really master any. So I see that happening all the time, just people wanting to do everything. And so you really do your best to stay focused on one thing at a time. The second mistake is that people enter businesses as trying a new beverage. Okay. This is a business, okay? So it should be what you love, not because somebody told you that it makes money. And you should have a written business plan. And by the way, I'm starting next week to teach a class with Harv, $1 Million Business Secrets. Also, it's just 4 weeks, and it's very inexpensive. So obviously, when you start a business, you gotta put everything you got into it. Okay, all your resources, your heart. You're gonna need to dream it, think it, conceive it, talk that way, live that way. So also you need to have an exit plan. You need to have done your market research, know what your competition, which I'm sure there is doing and not doing, how you can be different. And so be clear on who's gonna buy your products and services, because if nobody's gonna buy them, you have no business. And if and if you're not clear, and if you don't know how to market your products and services, then again, you have no business. Nobody's gonna know you are in business, or you exist, or your product and services exist. So there are some basics that that people start businesses without thinking, without having a laid out plan. That's why they need a coach, they need a business coach, at least at the very beginning, until they have a system. And then, some people just, then in business, they get a little burnout, at the beginning. So, because they don't know how to stop and have time off and time for relations. Again, I'm the first guilty of that, and who has done that mistake. And that's why, again, you need a coach to help you stay balanced, so you don't go insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful point. And I can relate to that personally, because it wasn't until I hired a coach, and it was my coach that actually planted the seed in my heart and said that, Shezad, you can do some coaching. You could become a coach one day. And I literally just laughed in his face. It was a telephone conversation, so I didn't have to laugh in his face, but that's I was kind of just laughing, just laughing, thinking, is this guy serious? But he planted the seed, and fast forward to now, I'm blessed, that I'm able to do something positive and try, working towards, leaving a good legacy and, improving as a person myself, first and foremost. So, I think that's would you say that is like a fundamental part of the whole discovery kind of process, where you upgrade your environment in terms of the people you're around, you surround yourself with, because then just, they will rub off on you.
Absolutely, yes. We do become the average of the people we hang out with the most. So surround yourself with successful people as much as possible. And of course, success is different for everybody, whatever success means to you. And surround yourself with people who are 1, 2, 3 notches above, so you can learn from them. And I'm not saying you don't have to hang out with people who are younger. Actually, that's really good, as long as they're willing to support your vision, and so therefore maybe they can help out emotionally or somehow. But if they're negative and they don't share your same core values and vision, I wouldn't recommend you spend as much time with them, because it's either you lift them up or they drag you down with them. So you decide. I've had that's actually been a hard lesson for me, if I may say, personally, and I still struggle with that today. Boundaries, because I want to help everybody and anybody, but reality is some people don't want to be helped. They're not coachable. Some people are not coachable and don't even believe in coaching. So, or maybe they have some clinical issues that or addictions that they just need a clinical professional for that. So and you can just help them. So I've had to draw some boundaries in both my personal and professional life, and say, okay, we cannot talk about that, or we can only talk about that on certain times when I'm not busy, because I always need to be as much as possible centered and grounded, for the work I do. I do people's lives, so I always have to be there for them, 100% present. I cannot bring these problems to the session, or all this negativity. So I'm sorry, this is not the time, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, that's a really kind of, I think, golden nugget that you've shared there about just trying to keep in a peak state and minimizing the negativity. And we all have that in us, don't we? You know, for some people it could be their spouse, for some people it's, you know, extended family, could be, you know, childhood friends who you can't really turn your back on, but you know, they just don't share your vision. You know, you've developed as a person and they haven't, and it can be quite challenging, but I think, you know, you're absolutely right. It's about trying to minimize it as much as best as possible, I guess, without, you know, sort of offending anyone. um Excellent, you've really given us a lot of value. I do have one question here from one of our viewers, but how are we doing for time, Elena?
We're doing great. Yes, we're doing
Okay,
great.
excellent. So one question that has come up here is that coaches, so I assume this is from a fellow coach, so coaches tend to focus on things that they've messed up on in life as their niche or their kind of, you know, that, you know, they position themselves as an expert in areas where they've messed up. Is that a good thing, or is that actually a trap that that coaches fall into? And I've heard opinions on both sides of the fence here, so I'm interested to hear yours.
I think it's a good thing, because how can you really, again, coaching per se, we don't tell people what to do, okay? But we can have experience, and if asked, we can share our experience, our knowledge, and then the client decides what's best for himself or herself themselves. So obviously, my specialty is business, because I do have both a educational and professional background. So I'm able to relate more with business owners and entrepreneurs, because that's what I focused on for most of my life. But then, so there are general life coaches that follow different formats, which I go over in the Rich Coach University, by the way. There's different school of thoughts, like in anything, like in science, medicine, you know, there's different, or politics or economics, you know, there's different current of thoughts. I try to be as neutral as possible and present all possibilities, and then the client decides for himself. But for myself, what are my maybe specialties? Well, I'm international. I come from an international background. I moved continents. I lived all over, and I work with businesses all over the world. So I can bring that. I can also bring, you know, when I was younger, I struggled with eating disorders. I was very skinny and didn't want to eat. And that was my way to rebel. I was really young, like 11, 12. So I overcame that. Also, what are some things I overcame? I overcame a divorce. So I can maybe be of support to somebody who's gone through that. You know, I'm not a mother. I have quote unquote godchildren, not in a religious sense, but they lost their mom, and who was my best friend. And so I feel like I help them emotionally as much as possible, you know, because they're still young. And so, but, you know, I'm not an actual mother. So I cannot help too much with parenting, or, you know, I'm vegan. I've been vegan most of my life. And so, you know, I cannot relate too much to somebody who, or cannot give advice to somebody who's got a heavy animal protein nutrition, because I don't even know how to prepare it or cook it. Okay. So, and I have a nonprofit where I do rescue a lot of animals. So I can give, I can help if somebody is willing to have a foundation or a nonprofit. What else? I'm a disaster in the kitchen, so I definitely cannot help there. I'm eco-friendly as much as possible and sustainable. I have a lot of fruit trees and veggie gardens and spice gardens, so I can help with that. I have a solar in all my properties, and so I can help. If somebody relates to that, being eco-friendly and sustainable, I can be of support. what else, but there's some things I'm definitely a disaster. So I cannot, I just don't have the credential. I've never experienced in my life. So
Yeah. That's really it's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. There's so many things that you could potentially if we look at it from a business perspective, there's so many things that you could really position yourself as an expert in. And I guess the reason why I asked that question was to maybe impress upon our audience that what have you been through in your lives? I mean, you mentioned like an eating disorder. And being vegan, and I'm sure people have similar types of journeys, similar types of stories, which they could kind of turn that into a message, couldn't they? I guess for people. I mean, I'm not here telling people that they should become coaches, but definitely I think that the knowledge sharing industry itself is booming, and people are now really waking up to the kind of the idea of self-help and reaching out for help, turning to people who have done who have walked the walk, talked the talk, and have been through that journey, rather than going to the traditional path, which was going to a GP or a doctor or a counselor or a therapist. People are now looking for they're searching online for people who have been through that particular problem and saying like how can I achieve my goal with somebody who's actually practically done it rather than just studied it in terms of theory. So I think I think you've nailed it there with that question.
Yeah, and this actually, thank you for asking. And this goes back to what you were saying about passion. So in the passion test and all these other tools out there to discover your passion, that's one of the questions. What are all the pivotal moments in your life up to now? What are some problems that you have overcome, and how did you overcome them? And that definitely gives you what's called the earn the right to be able to help others with that, because you have overcome it. If you haven't, then be honest, okay, because none of us is perfect, and we're work in progress, and you let them know, okay, I've got this far, so I can help you up to here, and then the rest maybe you can go, you can use somebody else for the rest to help you with. Yeah.
Excellent, great stuff. We've covered a lot of stuff. We've covered a lot of ground in a relatively short space of time. I would just obviously thank you for coming on once again. Thank you for your time, for your knowledge. I really hope that this is something that we can kind of continue to do on a not too regular basis, so that we respect your time as well. But I mean, are there any is there anything that you would like to kind of any final thoughts that you'd like to leave with for our audience, with regards to, especially with regards to people who are wanting to, especially with COVID and these difficult times we live in, they want to have a plan B in their life. They want to live the life of their dreams, but are not quite sure how to do it. Maybe they have limiting beliefs, that little voice in their head telling them that they're not good enough, that fear of failure, fear of success sometimes, fear of not being good enough. Like, what would be your kind of your advice to people like that, people in that category?
Sure, great question. And to wrap it up, I will give you those 5 links of things I mentioned. Okay, the 2 Harbecker programs and my freebies and the Cyber Monday Giving Tuesday deal until Wednesday. So
thank you.
It's definitely tough times for sure, unprecedented for everybody all over the world. But we coaches, we act in spite of fear, and we expect our clients to act in spite of fear, like our mentor Harv taught us. And listen, I also have challenges, I also have challenges right now. I have a client who's being investigated, and so I have to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork for that. So really like waste of time, and some investment deals didn't go the way I wanted them to go, but we all have some quote unquote issues in our life. But my advice is, there is obviously COVID being one for everybody, but there is so much more to be grateful for. We just have had Thanksgiving. But it's important you're thankful and grateful every day. You know, I would say my guess is that each and every one of us literally has between 90 and 99% of things, for lack of better words, to be grateful and thankful for, which we're not maximizing for sure. And we just tend to focus on the 1%, 0.1% that's not going well. And I am guilty of that too, you know. Yeah. And so don't let it, don't waste too much time, efforts, energy, mental energy on the on that little tiny dot issue that bugging you, you know, but stay focused on everything else that's going really well, and maximize that with your coach, with your loved ones, especially now at the end of the year, where we should take time to, that's what we'll do on the mastermind on Wednesday. We really take time to review our year, see where we are at in the big scheme of life. And then, so keep in mind, stay focused primarily on all the things you did well that you can maximize in 2021 and moving forward, versus the few distractions, the few annoyances, the few hassles, whatever you want to call them. That's what I would like to leave you with. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's a wonderfully positive note to end our masterclass on. And I think, you know, we really need coaches in this difficult time, you know, with COVID. And, you know, I mean, I even hear coaches sometimes sounding so pessimistic. And I'm thinking, like, you know, if coaches are going to start, you know, sounding pessimistic and telling people that, oh, the economy is going to fall apart and the world is, as we know it, is never going to be the same, then, you know, I feel like, you know, there's not much hope for the common person, you know, out there on the street. So thank you for sharing your positive energy and being so so open and transparent and willing to kind of share some of the, you know, the challenges that you're going through. And ultimately, we're all human beings. We all have things going on, challenges in our health, our business, our career, our families, and I think it really speaks volumes about you as a person, Dr. Elena, you know, and, you know, really, to be honest, in the sense that you're still, you know, turning up every day, giving 110%, being the best version of yourself. And I, you know, hope and pray that, you know, that you continue to flourish and be a means of guidance for people, as you have been, you know, over the years. And I hope that continues for many, many more years to come. And I hope that we can all benefit from your knowledge and your wisdom.
And vice versa. I know you do the same. And thank you for having these sessions. It's so much fun. And thank you for doing that for all our communities. Thank you, Shez.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yep. Take care. Thank you, everyone, for listening in.
Yeah. No matter what.
Thank you. Stay blessed, everyone. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye now.